Alright, I wanted to provide a little bit of guidance for the project that you can find under Canvas and assignments, and you can download this document that I have pulled up here. Okay, so let's go through this a little bit. I'll give you some hints. Okay, name. If you do this in a group, make sure you put all group names on it, so group members. You can have up to 3 folks in a group. And then put the term in and the year, and then professor. You can just put my last name, Toby, and whatever section you are. If you're in a face-to-face class, you can submit this. You can print this and fill it in by hand and turn it in during the final exam, whenever your scheduled final exam is. If you're in an online class, you will need to either print this out and then fill it in and then scan it or take pictures of it and upload it back to the assignment portion on Canvas. Okay, so let's take a look at the first part. And now there's 2 pages of instructions before this that give you the setup. I'm skipping that. I'm going right to where you need to start putting in stuff. So there's 2 situations. One is 2 people hear a rumor and then it doubles every hour. That's the situation number 1. So if we think about this, at time 0, 2 people have heard the rumor. Now that's just going to keep doubling. So in hour 1, there's now 4 people, and now there's 8 people. And I'm going to stop there and let you fill in the rest. It shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, in situation 2, 3 people hear the rumor, and then it triples every 2 hours. So at time 0, 3 people know. At time 2, triple that number, so it would be 9. And then I'll let you think about what the next number would be. Okay. So based on this, you're going to have to think about, okay, what is this? Is it linear, polynomial? Is it exponential? How is this growing? And then explain how you know that. And then talk about what defines a specific kind of behavior. Okay, and then in part 3, you're going to say, what's the pattern that relates n, which is the number of people who know the rumor, to t? And you can explain this in words. Okay, this is what I'm more interested in. Is we're going to make these words into math. So write the pattern as a function. So what you'll get is, and actually I'm going to do the harder one. So I'm going to do situation 2, and I'll let you think about situation 1. It's very similar. So situation 2, the number of people who have heard this rumor based on time, it's equal to n0. N0 is, I'll actually put part of this in. N0 is the starting number of people. So for situation 1, it was 2. For situation 2, it was 3 people heard it. Okay, now the base. Well, the base is going to be base 2 for this one and base 3 for this one. Okay, now we have to come up with something times t. So there's a number that goes in front of that t. And there's going to be a number that goes in front of this t. Okay, so it's base 3 to the time t. Now you have to figure out what goes in those in front of those t's. And the way to check it is to go back to the table that we just made, and you should be able to fill that in easily now, and plug in the different times. And when you plug in the different times, if you have this thing right that's in front of the t, you will get those same numbers back. So if you plug in time 2 for situation 1, you should get back, what is it, at time 2, for situation 1, you should have, the answer is 8. So if you plug in 2 times t, time will be 2, and then whatever number here, this whole thing should be an 8. If it's not, you've got to look at it and try to figure out what should be the right thing. Okay, so to do this, though, let's put that this is an unknown k. So let's say that's k for now. Again, you need to figure that out. It's a number. But I'm going to use k so I can do the next part. Okay, the next part is going to say, okay, so this is going to say what's the base. N0 is your starting number, so 2 or 3. Think about the domain and range for this. So domain is time. What makes sense for time? Can I have negative time? Can I have 0 time? Range is how many people. So can I have negative people? Can I start at 0 people? Where am I starting? Okay, so here's the trickier part, is changing the base to e. So let's say in situation number 2, you would have written up there, you have n of t equals 3 times base 3 to the kt. And again, you need to figure out what k is. It's a number, but I'm not going to just give that away. You got to do a little thinking there. Now we have to change this to this formula. So we want base e. So to do that, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a natural log of both sides. And we like natural log because it brings down powers. Okay, so you're going to end up using this rule we learned in class, that if you have the natural log of x to some power p, that's the same as p times the natural log of x. So that power can come down in front. You're also going to use this one. The natural log of two things being multiplied is the same as the natural log of two things being added. Okay, so you're going to be able to break this up into the natural log of 3 plus the natural log of 3 to the kt. And then you're going to be able to bring this kt down. Then you're going to say, okay, we want to take e raised to both sides. So to get rid of these natural logs, you're going to use this property. You're going to use e to the natural log of x equals x. So to get rid of this natural log on both sides, you're going to say, let's make it both base e. So you're going to add a base e here and a base e here on this whole thing. The e and the natural log will cancel here, and you'll have n of t. And this side, you're going to have e raised to the natural log of 3 plus that kt is now down in front, natural log of 3. Okay, now I'm going to give a hint here because this would be kind of hard to see. N of t is equal to, if you have this, you can break it into these two parts. And actually, let's not, let's leave it like that. So you can take an e raised to two different powers being added, and you can split it into two e's where the powers are now separated. So if you have two base, let's actually put this equation out here. If you have a base to the a times a base to the b, that's the same thing as the same base raised to the a plus b. So we went this way. That's a big hint. So me providing this should get you really close to what's expected there. And then you have to do the same for situation 1. Okay, and then those k values are going to be, so at the end of the day, you're going to have initial starting number 2 here and 3 here for the different cases, and you're going to have some formula equals 2e to the kt, and you're going to have n of t equals 3e to the kt. You have to record what is this k, and it will be a number. So it'll be an actual number that you can write out. It won't be like letters anymore. Okay? Okay, then explain what these things are. So k is the growth rate. We talked about that in class. And 0 is the starting number of people who know the rumor. Okay, now it's going to you're going to use these models to predict how long will it take for this rumor to spread to encompass, say, the whole school, Florida Gateway. So they give you the population of Florida Gateway. They say, okay, here's the total Florida Gateway population. Then you have to find the population of Lake City and the population of the state of Florida. And you're going to do the same equation over and over again, but you're going to solve for different times. So we had derived this in class. The time it takes for an exponential model to grow to a certain amount is the natural log of n of t divided by n0 all divided by k. So k we would have just written down above. N0 is either 2 or 3 depending on the situation. So in situation 1 it's 2, in situation 2 it's 3. N of t is the population of question. So in this first one, 2,500 is the future, is the amount that we're looking for in the future. So you take 2,500, divide by 2 or 3, depending on which situation you're in, and then divide by k, which is a number you should have written down above, and that will tell you the time in hours and minutes. Now be careful, because this is going to say, if the time, let's say the time is 10.3. Well, you would record that as 10 hours, and then you have to take 0.3 times 60 to get the minutes here, which in this case would be 18 minutes. So just be careful. There is a step there where you have to break a decimal into hours and minutes, and just take the whole number as the hours, and then the decimal times 60 will give you the minutes. Okay, that's a good hint there. Make sure you put your source for where you got these populations. I use the U.S. Census Bureau. It'd be a good hint to go there for those. Okay, now it's going to want you to plot situation 1 and situation 2 next to each other. And we give you the hint to go to decimals.com. You can do that. You don't have to. But if you do, you're going to type it in like this. So 2 times exponent of something times x, 3 times exponent of something times x. These decimals are the k values. Now, I did not give you, these are not the correct k values. So do not use these numbers I'm showing you here. This is an example. So most of this is right, except for these decimals right here. So you got to figure that out. But you will get a graph that looks something like this. And what you have to figure out is where these two curves meet. So that is going to be when the rumors are exactly equal. So situation 1 and situation 2 have the same number of rumors that have been spread, and you can see how one grows faster than the other. So we'll have some questions that I ask you about that. And if you drop down from that, that'll give you the time. So the x-axis is time, and the y-axis is how many people have heard it. So based on where those two intersect, you can get the time when the rumors will be equal, and you can get how many people have heard the rumor via both situations. And again, the numbers I showed you there are not correct, so just an example. And you can literally take a screenshot of that and paste it in here. You can try to recreate it by hand if you want and just draw it in here. It's up to you. Okay, and then you'll have to determine which rumor spreads faster here. Like I said, this N of T, this is the number of people that have heard the rumor when those two are crossing, so the equilibrium point there. And then this part is verifying that the models give you the same number by taking the time from the x-axis and plugging it into your two models that you wrote in a previous step. Okay, then you'll notice that one graph is on top of the other during this time, and then they switch during this time, so you have to write that. Okay, the last part of this project is calculating algebraically where those times should be equal. So to do this, you're going to have to take 2e, I'm going to put k1t, and again, you have to solve for that k1, I didn't give it to you. And you're going to set that equal to 3e to the k2t. So again, those k1s and k2s you need to solve for. And you're going to have to solve these. So I'm going to give you a hint and a few steps. You're going to take a natural log of both sides. You're going to break those into two natural logs using the multiplication turns into addition rule. And that's all I'm going to give you. So there's some things that will cancel there, and then you're going to get all the t's on one side and all the other stuff on the other side, and you're going to solve for t. So you're going to do some more steps to solve for t. So you'll be able to get t is equal to, and then they call it capital T, that's when they're equal, and you'll get some function, you'll get some stuff on top, some stuff on bottom. And then you'll be able to calculate that and get a number. Okay, and that's the entire project. I think there's one more thing. Let's just go look at it quick. It is just to answer, okay, T, the time from your analysis here, and then time from the graph, and do they agree? Okay, so that's the project. Give it a shot. I've given you a lot of good hints here. If you're still confused, please reach out to me. Do it in groups of 2 or 3 or by yourself if you prefer. And again, reach out to me if you have any questions.